So today we are going to do this poem, King Canute. Okay. So I think I'm showing the screen. Can you see the screen now? I don't think so. Now you can see. Okay. Now can you see the
Yes,
screen now,
now
Tiasa?
I
Okay.
yes,
Okay, yes. So Tiasa, I just want you to learn this word called. Can you see this word, sycophant?
yes,
So there is a meaning also written out there. A sycophant is a person who praises important or powerful people too much and in a way that it is not sincere. Okay. So it is like, what is flattery?
yes.
What is flattery? Tell me.
Flattery means we are praising a person who is not worthy of that praise.
Correct. So, but when you are actually praising somebody who is in a post of a king or in a very important post like a prime minister or something like that, a powerful person, then those persons who are praising that person is called sycophant. Okay. So you can actually use this word sycophant in this poem. Okay. So
Can
in
you
this,
send this PDF?
excuse me.
Can you send this PDF?
Yeah, yeah, I'll send it to you. Don't worry. Okay. So, what I was trying to tell you. Okay. So this in this poem, we will see that there is a king. Okay. His name is King Mook. Okay. And here the writer, Mr. Thackeray, is retelling the legend of King Mook. Okay. He was an early king of Britain, and Newt, after a long and hectic reign, was bemoaning his weakness and age. That basically means he has actually gone old and he is not very happy with his own age. Okay, he's becoming weak day by day, and he's not very happy. He is actually there is a little bit of guilt in him because he thinks that whatever he has done so far in his life was not worth it. Okay, actually he was a king who has actually looted a lot, who has killed a lot of people. Okay, so at this part of the age, like end life, he is actually regretting the fact that he has killed so many people. Okay, but because he's a king, he's always surrounded by sycophants. Okay, and these sycophants will always, they are yes men. Okay, they will always try to impress the king. Okay, so his courtiers, in an effort to curry favor, praised him as an omnipotent personage with godlike powers. Omnipotent means that a person who is present everywhere, and they actually praise him too much. They think this person is immortal rather. Okay, so he can never die, and they do lot of praising of the king, which actually is not required. But there is a very interesting twist at the end of the poem, which we are going to see. Okay, so should we start? Yes, sir. Have you understand the prefix?
Hello? Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, I've understood.
You have understood? Okay. So we will start the
Yes.
poem now. Okay. So King Nut was a very hearted. Very means he was very sad. Okay.
Tired.
Okay. He had reigned for years a score. Score basically means 20 years. Okay. So he has been reigning for over 20 years. He was battling, struggling, pushing, fighting, killing much, and robbing more. And he thought upon his actions walking by the wild seesaw. Okay, so one day when he was walking with all his men, okay, the kings generally, I mean, they walk with a lot of people around them. So when he was walking around the seashore, okay, beside, yeah, along the seashore, he actually was pondering that what he has done is in his life, and whatever he has done, was it worth it? So you can see at the end of his life, he was actually having a bit of guilty feeling in him because he had actually battled, struggled, pushed, fought, killed, robbed people. Okay, so he was not very happy with what he has done in his life. Okay, so twixt between with the chancellor, twixt basically means between. Okay, so he was between the chancellor and the bishop. Walk the king with steps sedate. Sedate basically means quiet steps. Okay. So he was actually not talking to anybody. He was very sad. Okay. So he was thinking, pondering over what he has done in his life. Okay. So there was a chancellor. Chancellor basically a person who is actually the king of all the staff. Okay. And bishop, as it is a church clergyman. Okay. A person religiously bound. Okay. So though these two persons were around him, he was walking. What do you say in between them? Okay, there were
Hmm.
chamberlains, there were grooms came after, silver sticks and gold sticks. Great. chaplains, aides-de-camps, and pages, all the officers of the state. So all these people, they are basically the staff of the king. They take care of the king and the kingdom. Okay. So
Okay.
chamberlains, as you know, they are basically housekeepers. Okay. Grooms is somebody who actually takes care of the king's health and everything, his looks and everything. Okay. And then there are chaplains. Okay. So, and aides de camp is a person who is in charge of the military. Pages are servants, and all the officers, the whole troop of officers with the king at that very day. Understood? Pyasa?
Okay. Yes.
Sliding after like his shadow, pausing when he chose to pause. Now, king was also not in a happy mood, so he was walking very sedently, like very slowly. He was walking. Okay, so all of a sudden he used to stop. All of a sudden he used to walk. Okay, so if a frown, his face contracted. If there was a frown on his face, if a sadness came to his face, straight the courtiers dropped their jaws. So all the people, when the king was sad, everybody around him, they also started feeling sad. But do you think this is a, what is a true emotion, or where they only play acting was going on?
It was not a true emotion.
Yes, they were only
They
trying to
wanted,
yeah, they were only
yes,
trying to
impress the king.
imitate and actually please the king. Okay, so whenever a frown in his face came, so everybody dropped their jaws. They all were thinking, they all was behaving as if they are also very sad. If to laugh the king was minded, out they burst in loud hee-haws. Okay, and if a king was reminded of a joke or something, and if the king smiled or even a laughed smirk came on his face, everybody would burst into loud hee ha, that kind. So they all were yes men. Okay, but that day something vexed him. Something vexed him basically means something was troubling him. He was concerned. That was clear to old and young, which everybody could see. All the courtiers could see that king is not very happy today. Okay. Thrice his grace has yawned at table when his favorite gleeman sung. Okay. Now, a gleeman basically is a singer or somebody, a stand-up comedian kind of a person, a courtier who is actually given a job to entertain the king. Okay. So thrice, when the grace means the king was at his table, and when his favorite, what do you say, an artist was performing, he was actually yawning. Okay. For example, if Kapil Sharma's show is coming and people start yawning at it, that basically means they are definitely not very happy. Huh? Understood?
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So once the queen would have consoled him, but he bade her hold her tongue. Okay. So queen also came there. Okay. She also wanted to like know what has happened to the king and want to actually soothe him a bit. But he said, okay, you don't have to do anything. You can go from here. So he had actually told her to keep his mouth shut. Okay. So definitely something was wrong with the king. Now, something ails my gracious master, cried the keeper of the seal. Okay, there is another person who is in charge with the responsibility of keeping the seal, that is the stamp of the kingdom with him. Okay, the seal of the king is very important. Okay, whoever possesses the seal can actually misuse it. So it is also a very important post. So he actually comes around and says that something is there, sir. Something is actually like ailing you, troubling you a lot. Sure, my lord, it is the lamb please served to dinner or the veal. Okay. So now he is actually suggesting that what you have eaten today might be actually affecting you. Okay. So do you know what a lamb please?
Uh, no, I don't.
They are actually a kind of fish. Okay. Served to dinner. Okay. And a veal is basically a flesh of a young calf. Okay. So these are all at that point of time a very delicious meals which are served to the king. So he is saying that the food which was served to you actually was not very good today, and they must be ailing you. Okay. Ah, Shah, exclaimed the angry monarch. Keeper, it is not that I feel. So the monarch is saying, the king is saying, it's not about the food. You fool, it is not about the food. Okay. It is the heart. There is something in my heart which is paining me, and not the dinner. Fool, that thought my rest impair. Okay. So my rest has been impaired, basically means damaged. Okay. Yeah, something which is actually causing problem to me. So it is not the food, he says to him, you fool, it is the heart which is actually troubling me. Can a king be great as I am, prithee, and yet know no care? Oh, I am sick and tired and weary. Someone cried, the king's armchair. Now king is saying that actually the king Newt is saying that I'm such a mighty king. Okay, and how come a mighty king like me can be in trouble? What is there which is bothering a king like me? There cannot be anything. I mean, I've actually accomplished everything I wanted. I have won everything I wanted. So how is it possible like that a king like me, with my stature, I mean, could have so much of pain? So somebody said, "Oh, I guessed it. It must be the king's armchair. The king's armchair is troubling the king. Somebody go and fetch it. Somebody go and bring the king's armchair." Then towards the lackeys turning, okay, the lackeys are basically servant. Okay, quick, my lord, the keeper nodded. So somebody said to the servant, "Go and bring the king's armchair very fast." Straight the king's great chair was brought him by two footmen able-bodied. So two bodyguard came, and the king's chair is a mighty one. It is all very stuffed and everything. So it's a mighty and a strong chair, and they actually called for it, and it came very absolutely instantly. Okay, so languidly he sank into it. It was comfortably weighted. Weighted basically means stuffed. Okay, padded. And languidly basically means slowly, sluggishly. So the king didn't want to sit in the chair, but because these people forced him, he actually sat on the chair. But still, he was feeling very wearily, very sad. He doesn't know what is happening to him. Leading on my fierce companions, cried he, over storm and brine, I have fought and I have conquered. Where was glory like to mine? Okay, so now he's actually contemplating his thinking like what I have done. Well, I led fierce companions. Okay, well, with me I had such great warriors. Okay, and we have fought all over the place. We have conquered the storms. The brine basically means salt water of the sea. We have conquered the land. We have conquered the ocean. We have done everything. Okay, I have fought and I have conquered everything. Where was the glory like to mine? But there's nobody else who has such a glorious life, such a powerful, such a victorious life like me. And loudly all the courtiers echoed, where is the glory like to thine? And everybody started praising him again. Well, sir, you are the mightiest, you are the bravest, you are the noblest, you are the most decorated king ever, and nobody can beat you. But do you think the king is liking all these praises, Pyasa?
I think the king is not exactly liking all the praises. Like at the end, he will teach a lesson to all of them.
Yeah, there is a twist in the story at the end, but actually the king, the king is used to all this flattery and everything. Okay, but today he is not liking it.
Yes.
There is something which is troubling him. Okay, so these people are doing what they regularly did to him, but today there is something else. There is something else in his mind. There is a, what do you say, a thought process which has started where he actually thinks that is all this glory worth it? Okay, whatever I have done is worth it. Now he's saying, what avail me all my kingdoms? Weary am I now and old. So he's saying that I am the owner of this vast kingdom, and now I've become very old and tired. Okay. And the sons, like all my son, I have begotten, the sons which I have, they all want me to see dead and cold. Why do you think, Pyasa, the son of the king, want him dead and cold?
I think maybe because I don't know this.
Obviously, when the father dies, the son becomes the king. They are now prince now, na? So they want the father to die. As soon as the father dies, the prince will become the king. So, like, this is what you say, ridiculous thing about our society or everything. The father, he works so hard all his life, and then everything passes on to the son. And once the father becomes a little old, the son wants his father to die so that he can possess everything. Understood? So now
Yeah.
the king is actually thinking like, what will happen to my kingdom? Okay, and does my son like me? No, my son doesn't like me. Okay, they actually want me to see, they want me to die as soon as possible. Okay, so he's asking his like bishop, would I wear and quite buried underneath the silent moat? So he's saying whether I should actually, what should happen to me? Should I die? Okay, should I be buried? Should everything I leave, everything and go? Okay. So he's actually asking the bishop that what will be the wise thing to do? Should I die here? Oh, remorse, the writhing servant, at my bosom tears and bites. Now the king is actually telling the bishop and everybody that remorse means guilty feeling. The wreathing serpent is basically twisting movement. Okay, in Hindi we call it like कि हम लोग के ना दिल पे सांप लौट जाता है. Have you heard somebody that there are snakes actually
Yes.
wriggling on my chest? when you do something wrong, you know, there is something like हम लोग ऐसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं कि हमारे ऊपर सांप लौट गया, something like that ना. So he's saying there is a servant, there is a serpent actually. Okay, he is actually, what he's doing is writhing over my bosoms. He tears me every day, he bites me every day. So there is a guilt feeling which I am living with. Horrid things I look on, though I put out all the lights. But like, even in the night when I go out to sleep, okay, so I see things around which are horrible things, you know, the images of things which I shouldn't have seen, but I see the snakes and I see all kind of bad caricatures. I see ghosts, I see skeletons, I see the head of a person, the hand, the eye, the thighs, the limbs. Okay, so horrid things I look on, though I put out all the nights. Ghost of ghastly recollections troop about my beds at night, and there are a lot of ghostly figures. They actually revolve. They surround me during my sleep. Yes, Pyasa, tell me.
After this line, would I were and quite buried underneath the silent mold, the lines are different in my book.
And what are those lines?
To me, I feel, replied King Canute, that's my end is drawing near. Don't say so, exclaimed the courtiers, striving each to squeeze a tear. Sure, your grace is strong and lusty, and may live this filthy year.
Oh, so
All these
basically, I
lines.
mean, basically, in your poem, they have
Hmm.
not given you these paragraphs. Okay, like you are saying from here, na silent mold. Okay, so actually, like you people are in class 8, so they are not teaching you these paragraphs. Okay, है ना? So they have started
Huh.
from May I feel, replied the king, can you, that my end is drawing near. From here it is there.
Yes.
So you don't have this paragraphs, right? Or remorse, it is,
No.
you don't have this paragraph, right?
Oh.
Okay, so let us do from here only. Okay. Okay. So nay I feel, replied King Newt, that my end is drawing near. Don't say so, exclaimed the courtier, striving each to squeeze a tear. Sure, your grace is strong and lusty and may live this 50 years. So now, I mean, there are a lot of interesting paragraphs which you people are not told. Here, actually, King Newt is actually like very concerned that what he has done in his life, he has actually burned the cities. Okay, he has actually made mothers weep for their son, virgins. I mean, the wives of the husband, young husband virgins. Okay, he has slaughtered their sires. Okay, so all this thing which you have done in his life, the horrible things which you have done to people, he is actually bite. All these thoughts are actually biting him. Okay, so that is why the king Newt is saying that I feel that my end is drawing near, that I will die very soon. But all the courtiers who are basically flatterers, who are basically sycophants, they are saying, "Don't say so, king!" exclaim the courtiers, striving each to squeeze a tear. Everybody wants to just drop a tear and try to show to the king that they are so concerned for him. Understood? Sure, your
Hmm.
grace is strong and lusty and may live this 50 years. So, according to them, their king is very strong and very lusty and may he live for 50 years. Live this 50 years, the bishop wrote, with action made to suit. Are you mad, my good Lord Keeper, thus to speak of King Newt? Man have lived 1,000 years, and sure his majesty will do it. Okay. Now, one of the courtiers said, Sir, why are you worrying? You are going to live for another 50 years. Okay. But the bishop, who was the, I think, was the king of all the sycophants, he said, 50 years? What do you mean? The king is going to live for 1,000 years. Okay. He's not going to die anytime soon. Okay. Okay, Kyasa, tell me, is this line also in your book, this paragraph?
Adam, Enoch, this one. Lamech.
Yeah, yeah.
No, this
It is
is
there?
not there.
It is not there.
No,
I know
it's
that.
not there.
Okay. And he to die, return the bishop, he is mortal like to us. This
No, this
paragraph is
is
there?
also not. No.
Okay, okay, no problems. So which so they have actually like because you people are in class 8 now, so they have actually not teaching the whole poem. Okay, is the so where you people have the paragraph now? Tell me, where should I start now? You tell me.
There's a line. Did not once the Jewish captain stay
Okay,
the sun upon the hill?
okay, so now he's actually trying to tell a story that did not once the Jewish captain stay the sun upon the hill. Okay, and while he slew the foemen, bid the silver moon stand still. Okay, so no doubt, good gracious Newt, if it were his sacred will. So he's actually comparing that there was once a Jewish captain who actually made sun to stand still. Okay. And while he was slewing his foeman basically means his enemy. Okay. He actually asked the moon to stand still. And now actually he's flattering the king and saying, so no doubt, good gracious Newt, if it were his sacred will. Now he's saying the king, if it is your will, if you want, you can also ask the sun, you can control the sun, you can control the moon. Okay. And if you want, if you wish, you can actually like control this natural elements. Okay. Might I stay the sun
Oh,
above us, good Sir Bishop? Newt cried. Could I bid the silver moon to pause upon a heavenly right? If the moon obeys my order, sure I could command the tide. Okay, now the king is saying, oh, can I do that? I mean, can I order the sun? Can I actually bid the silver moon to pause? Can I do it? If I can order the sun, if I can control the moon, definitely I could control the tides too, isn't it? Because the tides are actually much inferior to sun and the moon. The bishop is saying, of course you
yes.
can do that. Will the advancing waves obey me, bishop, if I make the sign? So he's saying that if I go near the tides and I actually make the sign, will the advancing waves, the waves which are coming, will they listen to me? Will they stop? Said the bishop, going lowly, land and sea, my lord, are thine. Everything is yours. Everything is controlled by you. This is a straight psychophancy going on. Okay. Flattery is going on. These things are actually not possible. Okay. But all this yes men, they are doing it to impress the king. Newt turned towards the ocean back and said, thou foaming brine. Now the king he is anticipating that whether the bishop is saying right or not. Okay. So he's saying, thou foaming brine. Foaming means raging. Brine means the salty waves. Okay. From the sacred shore I stand on, I command thee to retreat. Now the king is standing there is saying, you retreat, you go back. The waves, you go back. Venture not, thou stormy rebel, to approach thy master's seat. Ocean, be thou still, I bid thee, come not nearer to my feet. Okay, so now he's saying that you go back and you don't have to come near my feet. I am standing here. Don't come to my feet. But do you think the ocean will listen to him?
No.
Okay. But the sullen ocean answered with a louder, deeper roar. Okay. Yeah, sullen basically means frowning, angry ocean. Okay. They came back with a vengeance. They came with a louder, deeper roar. And the rapid waves drew nearer, falling, sounding on the shore. But instead of going back, they came much nearer to the king. Okay. And all the waves they came and they banged against the shore. Back the keeper and the bishop, back the king and the courtiers bore, and all these people they had to go back with the ferocity of the waves which it came and hit back. Okay, so the keeper, the bishop, the king, everybody had to go back, rush back, and he sternly bade them never more to kneel to human clay. Now the king has learned his lesson, and he actually advised and actually ordered all his yes men that you should never kneel in front of a human clay. Human clay here basically means a human body, basically means a person. You should never bow down to any person, whether the king or anybody else, but alone to praise and worship that which earth and seas obey. But you should only go and praise and worship the one who the earth and the sea obey, and that one person is the God. Okay. And from that day onwards, he stopped wearing his golden crown, and his golden crown and empire never wore he from that day. King Newt is dead and gone. Parasites exist away. So basically, he's saying that all we humans, okay, we are all mortal beings. Okay, so we will all perish one day. Okay, nobody is going to survive. Understood? So that is
Hmm.
the story. So did you like the story?